I've had experience with all of it, like in being super inspired, want to work super hard, grow, then work to the point of burnout. Oh, I've done all this stuff, and then I get complacent. Like I have everything already. I'm good. My viewers are gonna stay no matter what I do, and then you realize that they don't. So absolutely is the answer. Even 8 years in, there's always the desire to feel relevant, the desire to work hard to keep what you have.
Put my headphones on and played my favorite song and drifted off to a
Awesome. You guys popped off with this.
Yeah.
I did it
Wait,
myself.
am I in the middle? I'm
Yeah, you're in the middle. You're in
Okay,
the middle.
all right.
Okay, nice. Got
The
my little,
podcast too. Let's go.
a little HyperX pillow. Okay.
Want an orange?
Okay.
I think that's a
Decorative.
Is this good?
I think that's a cutie.
I think we're good.
All right, well, guys, it's time to get unmuted.
Let's get
Let's
unmuted.
do it.
Yeah.
Do it. So, this is our first time kind of meeting each other.
Of course. I'm BTMC and I play Osu. I live stream full time and I do YouTube stuff as well. So it's pretty fun.
Awesome. And what about yourself?
I'm Blau.
Hi, Blau.
Hi, Leslie. Great to be back at the HyperX stuff with you. I stream mostly full-time and then part-time do consulting for game studios.
Awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay, awesome. I'm Leslie. I go by Fuslie, Leslie, whatever. I've been streaming for 8 years. Been with HyperX since 2016. Kind of crazy.
Wow.
I know, it's a long time. And I stream variety, everything. Do all kinds of stuff. So,
Jack of all trades.
yeah, jack of all trades. What can't I do?
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's multi-talented. Okay, so sorry.
Podcast host now.
Podcast host. And, you know, we are on a podcast. The Unmuted podcast.
HyperX Unmuted.
HyperX
Awesome.
Unmuted. Today we are getting unmuted about staying relevant in the content creator space and talking about, like, you know, new platforms coming up, Kick, Rumble, YouTube. Hey, YouTube, that's me. And yeah, so let's get started.
Awesome.
Speaking of other platforms, well, I'm on YouTube. It feels weird.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Well
much.
Done.
But-
Why did you swap to
Why
YouTube?
did you
Oh,
swap?
well, now that you guys ask. Well, I was on Twitch for like 6.5 years, and I had a whole incident with Twitch. I don't know, but like I was kind of like the poster girl for DMCA, as in like I listened to Seven Rings by Ariana Grande, and she DMCA'd me
Banger
2
song, by
times.
the way.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, 2 times. And I got an email from Twitch and it was like, one more time and like you're done. You're like, your career's over. And I went on stream like crying and sobbing and I was like, I'm gonna lose my job. I don't know I don't know how to do this. And then they didn't have a way to delete all your clips. I was panicking. I was on like Philip DeFranco, all this stuff, and a bunch of articles. I'm like, Fuslie, you know, she's gonna lose her job. Like Twitch streamer plays music from all this stuff. So that was the first time I had like a wake up call about like feeling like I need to like put my eggs in more baskets. I also was coming off of Among Us from so there was a period of time on Twitch where I was a bigger YouTuber than I was a streamer. All of my viewers were coming from YouTube videos onto Twitch. And so I was starting to identify a little bit more with like YouTube content and whatnot. And then that incident happened. And that at that moment, platform deals were just like, people were talking about like Mixer and I don't know what else was around.
There was
Caffeine.
Facebook gaming.
Facebook gaming. So that was the time I was like talking to my agents and I was like, do you have any, like I'm just like, if there's anything else, I am interested just because I had felt so much like, well, particularly I was interested in YouTube. And then, you know, they actually reached out. They were interested. And obviously besides just, I mean, it's great that they like, there's a lot they paid, you know, and so I have stability in my job. I didn't like the day-to-day like counting subs. I didn't like
Getting too far into the numbers.
Yeah, like so, I don't know. That stresses me out personally. I've always been someone who like I personally like hide my viewer count. I hide a lot of those things because
Yeah, same.
Yeah, if I see like a big drop in subs one day, and I'm like, what have I done wrong? What did I do a month ago that people like didn't like or whatever? Or that kind of stuff gets me like very much so. So it was for me. YouTube was a sense of stability for me as a creator, just to, you know, like I have hours and it feels more of like, you know, kind of clocking in and clocking out, but I don't look at any of the other stuff for me, at least, yeah.
And I know for a lot of creators, when it comes to diversification, most creators don't really take the time to, you know, diversify onto other platforms, which can only benefit them at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, when I first heard that announcement, I was like so happy for you.
Oh,
Because like moves like this can only benefit the community as a whole.
Yes.
And the stability that it gives to its creators as well and to you is next to none. So really happy for you.
Thanks.
I was gonna say, I like the point that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like anytime one of these deals happens, it's actually really good for everyone. I think, you know, a spicy one recently is, you know, XQC's $100 million deal with
That
Kick.
was crazy.
And again,
Not exclusive.
non-exclusive. And again, it doesn't, how much of it is, does he get for doing these activities? There's all these questions involved, but at the end of the day, it's like that headline, $100 million. It's a deal worth more than LeBron's contract.
It gets people talking
Insane,
about
yeah.
live streaming
I mean,
as a whole.
Kick has been like, everyone's been talking about Kick since then. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that, and speaking of Kick and, your experience with Twitch, I mean, that also brings in this question, which a lot of creators have had to, I think, consider a bunch now, which is Twitch did some stuff with you back in the day where it's like, it's kind of crazy that like you almost got like banned, like career taken away from you for DMCA music. And now we look at like the kind of stuff that goes on in the creator space and it's like, that looks like nothing compared to what we see today, so.
There's definitely a whole spectrum when it comes to like the minefield of live streaming.
Yeah.
Like things just go viral like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And there's this like relationship that needs to be held between like there's a mutual benefit of we all want to see things blow up. It
Yeah.
benefits everyone, but how do we do it in the right way? And people are still figuring that out. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I feel like there's such a missed opportunity sometimes with like the artists that are like DMCAing, like, or not even like their label companies or whatever that are taking music down, because if I'm an artist, I want every streamer out there like listening to my stuff. I want my sound on every TikTok. It's like the opposite relationship on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like put my sound there, use my sound, let me make a song to go viral. Versus on stream, it's like I can't listen to like that. But if I ever talk to like an artist themselves, and a lot of times they're like, I'm working to try and get it for you guys to listen to, because that makes sense. Like you want people to listen to your music. So it feels a bit old fashioned, like whatever the laws around DMCA just feel like so outdated. I'm like, bro.
Totally, not even related to the topic at hand, but man, hot take. I feel like a lot of music nowadays, it like tries to just sound good for like 10 seconds. Like I think people are in the studio and they're like, "Yo, we got our 10-second like
The rest of it-
TikTok part. Rest of just like put on the and like the songs are like 2 minutes now. They're like 2-minute songs. Half of it's just repeated, and then
They have that super catchy part that's like sped up, put on TikTok.
People are starting to
Get it.
create content for the platform rather than
Yes.
for the media.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone goes through these loops and hurdles on Twitch of like split the audio from the VOD so it doesn't appear in the VOD, so I don't get DMCA. And like people are going like jumping through loops and hurdles on other platforms to avoid music being played, So it is kind of crazy to consider this. So.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the topic of platforms though, because
Oh, yeah.
Kick as a huge player, at least like recently, making that announcement with XUC, but also making many different, hints that there are more to come, right?
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of competition within the space is something very interesting because it's been debated whether or not that's actually helping. Does Kick actually like benefit the live stream space as a whole? What do you guys think?
I am of the opinion that it does. Any competition is good. Even Rumble, even Kick, even like questionable platforms themselves, in my opinion, like just having them there is only good for creators in terms of like deals. Twitch is going to be like, wait, we're going to lose some people. YouTube is like, everyone's like paying attention for sure right now. I personally think it's a great time for YouTube to come in. I'm not biased, I'm on YouTube, but I'm like, this is a great time because people are looking to get off Twitch. And a lot of them, Kick is too controversial, Rumble's too controversial, whatever, but are looking to take deals elsewhere. Facebook Gaming seems like they just kind of like, that didn't work out.
Yeah, it seems like they just kind of like pulled out altogether.
Hey, we tried, it was a valiant effort, and we're out.
They're making the metaverse.
yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that, guys.
Hey, the threads, they're doing things.
Okay,
Anyway,
they copied Twitter. Okay,
anyway. So I do think overall, my stance is that it's nothing but good, and I think that creators should be like happy about it.
Wow, what do you think?
I think what Kick's doing is awesome. I think that there's any number of spicy things about Kick. This is always my take on Kick, which is there is some percent of Kick that is advertising for gambling. Let's not you can't really beat around the bush about that.
Yeah.
Some amount of it is advertising
There's
for
some
gambling.
controversial stuff cooking
Yeah,
up over there.
definitely.
That's for
Sure. I actually think there's a genuine percentage of Kick that is, hey, we have some owners and leadership at Kick that genuinely just want to make a good creator platform. And people be like, well, what about the business or the ROI? You know what? We live in a world where billionaires don't have to care about that. They can just go and do stuff. And I genuinely think Kick is just trying to like shake things up and create really cool stuff for creators. And the speed at which they implement, like,
they're moving so fast.
They have a huge advantage in how small the company is or how fast they can make a change. The whole like hot tubs, gambling, check off, don't want to see it.
You can literally mute that stuff or like hide it.
But there's so many steps if like Twitch wanted to do it, like to like approve, like the higher ups just have to like approve everything, and it's like 2 months or I don't even know. But it just like that. I'm like, amazing. Like they just did that. And so I feel like because Kick can like take feedback and push out like changes so quickly, that's gonna be huge for them.
I agree with both of you guys like wholeheartedly. I do believe like more players coming into the space and competition fundamentally does push the scene forward. But sometimes I do get like really concerned. Like Mixer was making this huge push with the backing of Microsoft, and we've seen so many huge signings like Ninja, like Shroud, like huge signings like that brought so many viewers and so many creators to the platforms. Like for example, my friend Jake, he's actually my roommate. He actually started his career on Mixer.
Really?
Like from that, yeah, he was a Mixer streamer first.
Wait, but what made him start on Mixer?
It must have been. I'm pretty sure it was like the signings, or just like when he like decided to live stream, he just chose Mixer for some reason. I'd have to ask him again.
Yeah.
But I do remember that his career started on Mixer, and when things went down, his career basically was severely impacted by that. And the stability of these platforms is something that I do want to be like concerned of. It's like, okay, if these platforms are going to actually play in, they need to understand that they're dealing with, you know, what potentially could be people's livelihoods. Yeah. And well, I'm happy to see Jake still make it. So yeah.
I remember when Mixer was going down and everyone was like my channel's gonna die. Like, please support me. I'm gonna move on to this one. And I was like, holy crap, this is why. Yeah, it was so sad. And this is why diversification is so important. Like, I push for everybody to like at least dabble in like TikTok, YouTube, just like pay attention to where the trajectory of things is going. Like, obviously it's going to like a lot of vertical short form content, and that's not for everybody. It's not really like, I struggle with that. But like, just not like anything could happen. Like literally Twitch could shut down, YouTube could shut down. Well, I don't think YouTube shut down, but it could shut down. Did you feel pressure to stay with that one game that you started with, or are you comfortable like going into variety, or how was that for you?
Well, so I started with GTA RP.
Oh, awesome.
That's kind of like where I blew up. And I loved it. It was actually like, I joke about it sometimes, but I genuinely love GTA RP. It's really great. I blew up there. I really wanted to get away from it for a couple reasons. One is like, there's like a little bit of like, kind of like weirdness with how loyalty of viewership works, where I felt like, you know, and this is some topics, GTA I think is definitely true, where a lot of the viewers just watch GTA RP. They'll watch any number of streamers within it, but they're kind of watching the like TV show that is GTA RP and looking at different perspectives. They're not really watching the streamers much, and so many of them don't stream with face cam, or you know, there's not much about the personality of the streamer there. So I want to branch away from that. Also, the community can be very passionate. And so yeah, I wanted to like, so, and I think what I did, it's funny because we talk about this even from like Twitch and Kick, is, you know, the way Kick does their deals, like, hey, we want you non-exclusive, stream on Twitch, end your stream, then stream on Kick. And that's kind of the same vibe that I, you know, basically borrowed to transition. I'd start with GTA, and then be like, okay, guys, cool, we're done with GTA, let's go do some variety, we're playing some games with some friends, we're doing something else. And like, obviously, huge hit to your viewers, but then more and more of them start to stick around. And they're sticking around for you, not for whatever character you're playing.
For me specifically, I started my online presence with Minecraft, actually.
That's great.
Yeah, so it was like around 2013. I was like, oh my god, I watched like Sky Does Minecraft and Ant Venom and all those guys. And I wanted to be just like them when I was 13. So I created my channel in 2013 and really just did Minecraft stuff. But the server that I played on died around like a couple years later. So that's when I started like playing around with Osu, which I found through some big Minecraft content creators playing the game. And that's when I really started getting deeper and deeper into it, until one of my videos actually went viral. It hit around like a couple million views. So it was just making Osu videos. And it was also finding ways to just be different, because a lot of the content from back then was, especially with Osu, it's kind of like speedrunning, where all the attention is funneled towards the best performances. But finding an avenue where you can shift that sort of attention, not just to the game, but also incorporating the person, it's what eventually led to my success today.
Was there a trick or like transitioning, like making them care about you? Was there like a video you put out like 50 things about me? Or like, you know, like was there something where you helped, where you know, your personality was able to shine more?
I think it was more of the, so Osu is a very niche game. The bar that's set for when it comes to the standards of content is extremely low. I'm telling you, like, in order to incorporate my personality, it was quite literally as easy as saying, wow, that score was awesome. And then eventually I'm like, okay, I can organize these funny bits, bringing in like swords and other props, and just finding more ways to give myself opportunities to be expressive.
Do you have props just laying around?
Yes.
Like, just so you can grab them? Like you act on your intrusive thoughts and you just grab things?
Exactly.
I need to do that more.
Yeah, that's basically how personality got incorporated. And that is also another way of diversifying yourself. If people only watch you because you're good at something, if you lose interest in that game, you're done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, me and Leslie can relate to
Yeah,
that.
we're insanely
we're
good at.
incredibly talented gamers. Yeah, and I think a lot of people really notice that from us, and you know, it's actually been kind of difficult for us because people just really like our high level play, and so it's like trying to like find ways to show that we're not just, you know, god tier gamers. It's a struggle, right?
Listen, I'm aware I am bad at games. I've been bad at games. I've never been good at a single game. I'm aware of it, but that's forced me to like have diverse content. Like
that only makes your job even harder if you don't have like.
Well,
like,
I was gonna say,
very
if
specific
anything,
skill.
it kind of makes it, it makes it harder initially, but then over time, I actually think it makes it easier because no one expects me to open a game and be good at it. Nobody is like, people, if anything, are like, let's watch Leslie play this game. Like, it's more of like, they're expecting me to fail, and how many times can I fail before I lose my mind type of thing. But I'll still take on those gaming challenges. I beat Only Up. I beat the horse boss, and it's a tree sentinel in Elden Ring. I did those, and I like those. But I think in general, like, coming from an angle where I'm bad at games, I had to, like, variety just came extremely naturally. Like, I have to be a variety streamer. But I'm like so grateful for it, because every day I'm like, what am I playing? Like, yesterday was Minecraft, the day before it was like Goose Goose Duck, and then I'm playing Valorant, and then I'm playing GTRP, and then every day I'm like, what's the plan for today? I don't know. I don't know what the plan is, and every single day it's a different game. And I think that it is harder to like sometimes have that viewership, especially sometimes like during the Among Us phase. I was a solely Among Us streamer, but you have to recognize like, yeah, I'm playing a game. I like it. My friends like it. Viewers love it. This is just only beneficial to fully commit into one game, and you have to be ready to pivot. I say like at any point, if something just catches and pops off like your Osu video, like. You get ready. You take that, and it's your job to turn that into whatever content you can in other forms and be as efficient with that content, and then go that way. It's like, hey guys, my GTA stuff is doing really well. I'm gonna take like a couple months and really focus on that, and then people understand. But you have to kind of be ready to up and pivot.
That Tree Sentinel stream was
I
truly
beat
special.
his ass, but like my thumb still hurts from that, like because of how hard I was pressing on the keys, and like I'm not a controller player, and so I like push really hard, you know, and you don't have to, but I do, and like I turn my arm and like I think.
I mean, when the stakes are super high, like, dude.
It's kicking in. Arthritis is happening.
So Leslie, how do you go then from being an Among Us streamer to like doing other stuff? Like, how do you make that transition?
You understand like Among Us has its hype while it has its hype, and I played it until I really couldn't play it anymore. And then luckily for me, a game that I was naturally interested came up, and that was GTRP for me. So it was like a completely different game, but the biggest thing I realized is what did people like from me in Among Us? Like why were people watching Among Us to begin with? And a big thing is social interaction. People love to see like two people like arguing, going head to head, getting like that's something you don't see in Valorant gameplay. Like I'm playing Valorant, I'm like, hey, they're A, rotate, you know, whatever. But in Among Us, I'm like, you're lying. You're like, what are you? Like, I swear they did this, and you're going at it with a complete stranger, and people are like, yeah, that's crazy. I'm watching Ninja and Fuslie yell at each other. This is sick. Or like, you know, you see all these collabs. So in GTRP was a very natural segue for me, and I just knew, yeah, I'm gonna lose a chunk of that Among Us viewership, but now I have a GTRP audience, and I'm gonna grow from that. And the way, in general, my whole career has gone is like I started as a League of Legends streamer. Played that and then discovered FPS games, started playing Counter-Strike, lost a ton of League viewers, and like, why is she playing CSGO? This game's so toxic. And I'm like, so they're like,
rich from that.
Yeah, I got flamed for that. And then I started playing H1Z1 and PUBG, and then I got into Battle Royales a bit. And every time it would see a viewership spike, then a drop. But then I'd like grow from the new game, and then like I'd drop. And it was always, the thing is, I'd always end up a little higher than I was before. And so then I had like 500 viewers, starting to get a little bit of an ego around then. I was like, I'm a streamer, guys. Okay, and then a lot of, I guess from there, I was like, well, I've played League, I've played CSGO, I played H1Z1, I played this, I played Fortnite a little bit. Then I'm like, well, I can, and then I'm playing single player games, right? And then from there, you just start building your community and foundation.
It's something that I recognize as well, where I had to pivot from Minecraft to Osu.
Yes.
And I've stuck with Osu ever since, but I've noticed that when it comes to pivoting games, it's really understanding what you have left once the game is removed, which every single person understands that they always have themselves.
That point is exactly it. It's literally, what's the thing about you that you can apply to any sort of game? And that's why I discovered oh God, it's cringe for me to say this, but I discovered in GTA that I like roleplay. I stopped doing GTA roleplay, and then I would just bring roleplay into every game that I played, much to probably the concern of people like Leslie, who I would play the games with. But Chivalry. Yeah, I would go full on medieval roleplay and Chivalry, do like combat roleplay and BattleBit, and it basically became like, okay, let's see how I can turn every game into a roleplay game. And there's pros and cons to that, but that was basically a thing that like my viewers loved. So
it's awesome.
Oh yeah, my Chivalry streams were definitely something there. I can't do them anymore. I keep losing my voice from them, so I have to work on that.
What do you think is the next step for content creators? You have events like the Streamer Awards or Chess Boxing, and like huge productions, like the event-based things. Do you think that that's going to take over?
I literally just got off of hosting an event called The Roundtable. It's an Osu event where I bring a bunch of top players in and have them playing in a tournament. And that whole experience is something that was heavily inspired from seeing things like the Chess Boxing event. So how can I do something that will bring in a lot of viewers, but also make something that's challenging to me, that's passionate for me? And The Roundtable was my event of choice to put together. A lot of people forget that I have no professional experience. It was quite literally me growing up in the East Coast with my parents, forfeiting college to take an opportunity with Twitch, and then learning it step by step along the way. So when it comes to directing players, their flights, food, and catering, the best way that I can really learn is just doing it.
I think the space is, like a few years ago, I'd almost compare this to how we eat food. It's like a diet. And at the lowest level is React content, which I do. But this is like the fast food of content. I'm going to watch other people's content and give takes on it, right? And then as you like go up this food chain, you get to like, what I would consider like fine dining, which is like the kind of like pre-planned streams. Like I'm gonna host an event, I'm gonna do like something like this. And then you get to like past fine dining, you get to like Michelin star, experimental gastronomy, like the kind of stuff where I think some of the leaders in there are like Cutie Cinderella, Ludwig, Germa, where they're doing something no one's seen before at a really big level. And I think probably a few years ago, the split was like 90% just whatever kind of fast food content and maybe 10% intentional content. And now it's like 80% fast food, 15% intentional, and then 5% innovative. And that innovative content's like the really crazy big events. And I think we're gonna continue to see that shift a little bit more. I think we see that shift on YouTube as well, and TikTok, and even other platforms where people are like, okay, we're kind of through the like basic form of content. How do we start innovating and doing more things? I think a lot of times that does look like doing things in a bigger way, but it doesn't need to be collabs. I mean, one of my like favorite things was, granted because he carried me recently in Apex Legends, but it's Timmy. Timmy does crazy challenges, right? Yeah. That are typically him, and it's him leaning into his strength where he's like, I'm gonna, in one stream, go from, I think he went from what, Bronze
to Predator in a single
Oh, never forget
stream.
that. FL, that stream was crazy.
Right, and it's like anyone can be like, hey, I'm just gonna stream and play video games, and just do that, what would be considered fast food content where you're just playing games over and over. And it's like, he took that to the level of like fine dining Michelin star where he like added this twist of like, I'm a god at this game. I'm gonna literally go from the lowest rank to the highest rank in one stream. That was sick. So I don't think you need collabs for it. I think you just need to lean into your strength.
Agreed. I think I don't think the entire space is going to shift towards event only, super high production, just because people, like the whole appeal of live streaming is that it's live. People can watch these channels that are, it's almost like, at least for me, when I watch a lot of streams, it's like leave it on the side as like white noise. It's like company. Like I know it's comforting to know somebody's there doing this one thing. And then sometimes it gets really good, engaging, and I hop on the chat. I'm like, you know what I mean? But I don't think we're gonna see only events and only these things take over. Bigger events, better events, higher quality. Collaboration obviously is going to be a big part of it. But it's, I think your everyday go live, those kinds of streams are still gonna thrive on the space, yeah. So we all just kind of came back from Conquest, and I wanted to, get your opinions because I felt like it was sort of like a pseudo-celebrity experience.
I mean, even I kind of looked like a celebrity in the Philippines. So even I had fans, which is crazy, right? So, no, I mean, like, when I was in the Philippines, the way I thought about it was, like, it felt like I was one of the biggest streamers at TwitchCon. Like I was, like, XQC at TwitchCon in the Philippines. But then for Leslie and Ray and Sykkuno, they were A-list celebrities. They had to have security, like put barricades up. It was
insane.
It was crazy. I think there's a mix of they're becoming bigger celebrities, but then on the flip side is the bigger celebrities are starting to become content creators.
That's actually true. We've seen so many different A-list celebrities start to create content on different platforms. Even at the very least on short form content.
It is really crazy to watch the celebrities you grew up watching. They're on TikTok and they're collabing with the TikTokers or YouTubers and you're how did that happen? Makeup artists doing the Kardashians makeup or I don't even know.
Pete Davidson on Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
Wait,
dude.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady, Madison Beer streaming with XQC is there's
timeline.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I think on the whole topic of our content creators, celebrities, it really just falls into a range, right? When it comes to A-list celebrities and people like that who feel so out of reach, I don't think creators are there just yet. No. But when it comes to who a celebrity is, when someone looks up to someone, that's how I'd sort of define it. I feel like creators are, on that sort of spectrum where there are a group of people who do look up to people like us and do find us inspiring to them and make us worth their time.
Yeah.
So in that sort of sense, I do think I do think to a certain extent streamers are celebrities. But with that, I also believe it comes with a sense of responsibility as well. Because after going to Conquest and realizing that we have international polls to bring in crowds like that, it's humbling, but it's also awakening of oh my God, this is crazy.
Listen to what I say. I have a stance on something, or
and people are willing to pay money to buy a ticket to go someplace just to see us.
Oh yeah, I'm in the Philippines and someone came up to me and was like, "I flew all the way from Chicago to meet you," and I'm like, don't do that. That's really far, and you're closer to me over there. But it is absolutely crazy. And I will always see the separation, personally between I don't know, those I think Taylor Swift or big actors or Margot Robbie or whoever. I always see what they do very different. But it is kind of crazy to watch a video of your favorite celebrity getting mobbed or doing whatever, and then you'll go and people are like, I'm like, whoa. And there was a moment I was signing papers and people were just sticking things in my face to sign, and I was like, oh my God, this is it feels like I paid for a celebrity simulation.
Your Starbucks meet and greet.
That one was crazy. The Starbucks meet and greet.
The security had to pull you away.
Yeah, that one, wow. And then the Starbucks employee came and was like, this is not okay. We are kicking you out and fining you. But the big one was when we came out at the mall. There was my roommates and I did a panel at the mall, and it was 3 stories of people just crowded and screaming, and I was like, there's no way that's for us. There's absolutely no way. We would step out and everyone was screaming and oh my God, holding signs of our faces, chanting Sykkuno, for his birthday. That one was the single craziest moment of my life. I can't think of anything that was crazier than that, because I was like, this isn't real. I'm in the Philippines. And there's security guards everywhere. This is what a celebrity would feel like. This is the experience. This is Justin Bieber going to the mall or something like that. Because this doesn't happen at LA malls. I can go to the mall right now and be completely fine, not get recognized one time. but the Philippines at this specific event, like, what is that? And
Yeah.
so I feel like there's been moments where it feels like it definitely, you get that experience.
Definitely.
And the way the kids or people like look up to us is, you know, like you said, we have a responsibility now because it's like people look up to us. They listen to what we say. We have influence. You know, we're sponsored by products or whatever. Like, it's definitely, it's close. You know, it's not exactly what I envision a celebrity life, but it is getting there. And it's wild.
Okay, yeah, actually, question for you guys. Do you feel like, because it feels like everyone and their mother wants to be a content creator now, do you feel like it's getting oversaturated? Like there's too many? Or like, what are your thoughts on just everyone getting into content?
Well, so I've been paying attention to the space for a very long time. Like even back in like 2010, when I was like watching like Minecraft YouTubers and stuff, and really just like taking a look at the space of like what makes them entertaining, why do they do the things they do, and why am I even watching this, right? I'd like to think there's like a sort of spectrum, and I think the history is interesting. So back then, I truly believe that the people who made it a career through content creation and live streaming, they were primarily people who just did it for the sake of doing it for fun.
Yes.
And they were super genuine, and you can tell that when they make videos that they're doing it because they genuinely believe in the community that they're making videos for, and want to just see the whole space grow. And video content creation was their medium of doing it. And then finding success through monetizing it and creating a business, hiring editors, and just building that team to support it came afterwards. Nowadays, I feel like there's this transitionary process where people are realizing, okay, there's actually money to be made here, and there are tools and strategies of how you can actually make the percentage chance of you finding success greater by doing specific things. There's almost like a meta to it, right? And we've definitely seen that, seen people take advantage of that and build careers from those sort of formulas. There are YouTube consultants, there are content creator strategists, there are production teams specifically catering towards YouTube. Like, there are so many different tools that are available nowadays. And even like with the introduction of OBS, when that was first a thing, that made live streaming so much more accessible. Like, I remember when live streaming, if you wanted to live stream, you had to pay for XSplit, like a subscription service or a paid software service just to go live. So I do believe things have gotten more saturated, and I truly believe it's mainly because the barrier to entry is a lot lower for it. Yeah. But I feel like that also gives a lot more room for innovation to be made, where now that there's so many people who are wanting to get into content creation, I heard it's even like the most desired career for a teenager. Yeah. Like, people have to think outside of the box if they want to be different and if they want to find success. And for the people who have already found some sort of success, they're able to, now they have much more, they have different avenues and opportunities that are open to them that never would have been there before if it was continued to be this sort of niche career. And also legitimizes it so that when I go to the bank, they don't look at me weird for saying I make videos.
Oh, I know. I remember getting like in an Uber and they're like, "What do you do?" And this was like 8 years ago, and pre-Ninja and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm on YouTube. You know, YouTube. I wasn't even on YouTube, but I was just like, I'd always say YouTube. Or I'd say Twitch and regret it because I'm like, what's Twitch? And I'm like, oh, it's like a streaming. You know what YouTube is? But it's like live. It's like live. Okay, interesting. It's such a foreign idea, and now it's like people are like, oh, streamer, right? Like, you know, you kind of describe. I describe what I do without saying what I do, and they're like, oh yeah, I like Twitch. You're like, oh, well, you know, you do streaming, yeah. So absolutely, I think it's so saturated. It absolutely is saturated now because everyone can do it and everybody wants to do it and is trying to do it. People ask me all the time, like, how would you grow as a streamer? What tips you give? Like, if I just started right now, like, I don't know if I could grow. I don't know. I would like to think I could still do it again, and you know, but a lot of it is just like, you know, so many steps along the way that a lot of it was luck, a lot of it was finding the right people at the right time who were willing to do things, and you grew together. So I'm not really sure, and it is, but it's absolutely, it's a cool space to follow, just whatever's happening in it.
Yeah, I think it also is just like expanded even for us. I mean, all of us talking about gaming, but it's just that content creation's everything now, right? Like, I think the way to kind of think about it is like, I would never tell someone to go into full-time content creation. Just don't do that. Like, do pursue a career or a passion, and do content for that passion.
Yes.
And if it pops off, great. If not, you enjoy doing it, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're a surf instructor, that's your thing. You're a surfer and you're a surf instructor, do that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Make some videos. And if you hit some crazy video of you hitting the, I don't know, the big wave, get pitted, wapow, like cool video of that, and it pops off, make some more and do some more. And you might end up being the surfing content creator, right? And like you might pop off in that space, right? But the thing is, like, people can do that for everything, for woodworking, for pottery, for any walk of life. You can make content out of it. And I think a lot more people are doing that. And yes, it is true that the space is really saturated, but on the flip side, so is the amount of, the viewership grew a bunch too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I'm old. Well, I don't know about old. I shouldn't say I'm old. I'm 31, which could be old or young.
I'll be there soon.
Yeah, you'll be there soon. You'll be there really soon. It's back in the day, I remember watching Star Wars on VHS. And like, because my parents wanted to like show me the Star Wars movies. And I was like, and I'm thinking like, man, what did we watch? We watched like VHS, and like DVDs came out, and it's like, what did we have to watch? And nowadays, it's like you open up your phone, bam, TikTok, and now there's Twitter, and then Threads, and then there's YouTube, and then there's Instagram, and it's like there's so much stuff and so much content to be consumed. So yes, while everyone else is making content, everyone's also consuming it. Like Netflix, their number one competitor is probably not Hulu. I bet you Netflix's number one competitor is TikTok. Like, it's a weird way to think about it. Like, any of these major entertainment groups or platforms, their major competitors are the other ones that
The attention economy.
Yep.
$1 billion idea, Netflix Shorts. Swipe through your phone for mini movies.
Wait.
I'm not sure if we need another one of them. I'll be
That's
completely
just
honest.
That's just TikTok. That's probably just TikTok with like, some people do like high production. But what if it's like,
Wait, but that would be kind of crazy. Like, you go through and it's like a little trailer and that pops you to that movie. Because no one can choose what they want to watch on Netflix.
Oh
So it's like if it was like
for
little,
discovery.
oh my God. Someone in like 3 years is going to clip this and be like, dude, remember when Leslie predicted this? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hello, future. Hi.
you're cooking with that.
On the topic of oversaturation, I really want to ask you, Blau. There's a lot more people trying to get into the space. There's a lot of people who are interested in the space. There's a lot of people who want to make money in the space. There's a lot more competitors, basically. Do you feel extra pressure as a result of that?
Yes, and I hope those people quit. I mean, like, yeah, like obviously you feel more pressure, but I think it's like, okay, there's two sides of it. Like on the one hand, the pressure can go way too far, and like people can face burnout or the imposter syndrome. All these things can hit you. On the other hand, there's like this perfect amount of pressure that makes you be like, oh, I need to be doing more, and be thinking like, hey, like maybe I want to do like like merch, or like, hey, maybe I want to host a podcast. Maybe I want to do an event, right? And I've found actually a pretty good relationship with that of like, instead of viewing it as like just purely competition. Oh man, I have to fight against these people. I think about it as like, oh, like this is like a good challenge for me to like keep innovating my own content. I think it's good. I think it definitely can swing too far for people though.
Yeah, it's like a spectrum between complacency, which is what I was getting faced with, and burnout, which is the other extreme, and finding a way to be somewhere in the middle where you can constantly be inspired, constantly be pushed to develop yourself and to push forward. But those extremes are definitely where things get dangerous. But Leslie, I wanted to ask you the same. Like, how has this affected you?
I think so. I've been streaming 8 years. So I've had experience with all of it, like being super inspired, want to work super hard, grow, then work to the point of burnout. Then I, go back, get inspired, but then I feel like, oh, I've done all this stuff, and then I get complacent. Like I have everything already. I'm good. My viewers are gonna stay no matter what I do, and then you realize that they don't, and then they're like, hey, we've noticed you're getting complacent or whatever. So absolutely is the answer. Even 8 years in, there's always the desire to feel relevant, the desire to work hard to keep what you have. And also because I feel so fortunate in what I do that I'm like, if I don't work hard, then I don't deserve this. Like I need to work as hard as it feels like I feel so guilty if I'm like taking like a month or two to just, I don't know, go travel the world, even if that's something I really want to do. I'm like, I'm making money from this, and this, and I'm doing this, and my viewers are like, where is she? I want to see her, share more. So I feel like this, like every single day, it's like the second I stop stream, it's like, when is the next piece of content coming out? Even if it's an Instagram story or even if it's a tweet, whatever, it's like, it shows people I'm there, and like, so I constantly am like keeping up with that. It's a never ending treadmill. I'm like always on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. This whole topic is so interesting to me because for my specific situation, I'm basically one of the, if not the largest OSU content creator, both on YouTube and Twitch. And because of that, I'm in a very unique situation of like watching the competition unfold and seeing what people are trying to do to kind of, gain relevance and catch up. It gives me an edge because I get to have that information. And from my perspective, I'm actually trying to encourage it because the way that I'm aligned with my niche with OSU, I want to see the game grow. I want to see the community grow. So if anything, I provide resources and a platform to these other content creators to help the entire, if a rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Yeah. Love that.
So,
This perspective actually is, I think, one of the like healthiest perspectives up and coming creators can have, especially with the people they stream with, because I've heard and noticed that a common thing is like, yo, these are like my friends that I stream with, but they're my competition. And it's like obviously
it's so toxic.
And it's obviously gonna be like, hey, like if they're not streaming and you guys always stream together, they're not streaming. Oh my God, you have way more viewers because they're not streaming. But like, I think that that's not the way you want to look at it. You want to look at like all of you as a whole, right? Like you want to be like, hey, like my friend who I stream with all the time is doing some new content and popping off. That's good for me because I stream with them. And so I'm gonna go do some new stuff and bring some new people in. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're all collectively eating more together, as opposed to like, I'm only eating when they're not eating, right?
Exactly.
It's such a good like, sometimes I get a little bit too into that, and like if my roommates are streaming, I'm like, they're working for me today. Like this is great. I can take the day. I should go shop today. Like I'm very collaborative with my roommates, and we almost stream together every day. So it's kind of like one of those things. Is like obviously if none of them are live and I'm live, like yeah, some of the viewers are gonna go to me, but it is I always view it as like when one of my roommates is popping off, that is so good for us as an entity, as like. Honestly, for whatever game that is, whatever space it is, like it's so like that mental. Like once I found a shift, I've gone through a bunch of different mental states with like streaming and people in the space, and I felt really weirdly competitive with certain people. I've addressed it. Why did I feel competitive? Why? And then I've shifted, and the most sustainable, healthy spot is where like this mentality, and which is why in the end of the day. Platforms and all that stuff is so good because everyone is getting a great deal over here, but that's going to push these people to get better deals. Everyone's just we're kind of winning. As an end note, I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you feel is your purpose when it comes to streaming? Is there something that keeps you motivated to make content every day, or just in general, like that? What's that mindset that you have when it comes to streaming?
For me, I think I can put in just like one phrase. It's to be the change I want to see in the world. When I was growing up and consuming content, specifically OSU content on Twitch and YouTube, like I just saw that like, okay, these guys are insanely talented players. They hone their craft over the multitude of years. But when I watch like their live performances, it's like they're rocks. They just don't do anything outside of play the game or exist. And I'm like, okay, I want to see that change. I'll be that change. And it's the same thing when it comes to events where like I want to see the OSU community grow. The tournament scene, there's many passionate people who are very competitive within the game, but there's not that many opportunities in terms of tournaments or like the prize pools for it. And so I want to see that change. And I decided to, be the change I want to see. And that's really what drives me. It's when I see a problem, I want to be that person to solve it. I feel being on the sidelines and being vocal about issues definitely does help, but to actually take action and take the steps forward to do things, that's the perspective that I try to take.
I love that. That's awesome.
Wow. That was super wholesome. My purpose in streaming is to be an outlet and a punching bag for other creators so that they can roast me and feel comfortable about it. And then I'm the Dark Knight, I that's my burden. On a real note, I just want to create dope shit. I think I know everyone wants to do that. For me, I'm trying to do like cool, like innovative stuff. And I think the sort of way to frame it is I want to do stuff that's always really, really cool for my size and for where I'm at. And some people struggle with this, but it's like, I had a subathon that I loved. I thought it was some of the coolest content I did. Was it as cool as Ludwig's subathon? No. Was it as cool as maybe Kai Sinat's subathon? No, but it's like, for my size as a creator, I really nailed it. And so for anything I'm doing, I'm like, I want to bring something to people that is really cool for like my size and my growth. Hopefully continue to grow, but like, I just want to like, I want to hit like 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 for like any of the events that I put on, right? So
It almost sounds like a creative outlet for you.
yeah. And eventually beat Lily in a rap battle. That's like my long-term goal is.
Good luck with that.
Good luck.
What about you, Leslie?
I think I've always stream purpose, flip flops around. I think the biggest one for me has always been like cheesy, but like community. I have like from the start, like been so like I guess absolutely mind blown. The fact that we have the ability to foster a community of people on the internet. Like people come to our stream to feel like safe, they feel comfortable chatting, they make friends, they, you know, whatever. They come to our streams and can feel like part of something. And that even like, I know people say this, but like literally doing that for like 1 or 2 people sounds incredible, right? We get to do that for hundreds, thousands of people. That is insane to me. And so I wanted like, when I do obviously feel that little guilt, that little voice inside of me that when I don't go live for 2 days, 5 days, a week, they're like, Leslie, where are you? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally like, I'm the reason they can't like talk to their friends today or like, you know what I mean? So that's a big thing that keeps me like always going. But I guess just creating the best content, creating like the people literally love to watch me and watch us because we make them laugh, because we inspire them, because we do these things, right? That make them feel something. And I want to just just keep doing that, essentially. Like go live and like, if I'm laughing, they're laughing and like I'm creating a funny moment for them. And and also we're so lucky in the fact that we get to share that. Like we'll have the funniest moment on stream and people like all witness it and like find it so funny too. And there's something that's so awesome about that. I don't know. So anyways, I guess it's just mostly like creating a great community, and
You do have a really good community.
I love them.
You steal their jokes all the time.
I steal their
That's
jokes,
why
and
you're
then
funny.
I gaslight them. Or if they're funny, it's because they watch me. And the streamer,
Okay,
the
wow.
chat is a reflection of the streamer.
I
they're like, bro, the
think
ego.
the streamers are a
and then
reflection
I
of the
just
chat
ignore
in
them.
your case. But
Anyway,
okay,
but it's great, and I think that's one of the best things about being a streamer.
Yeah. I think when it comes to your platform, you're able to allow people to be part of something.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing feeling.
Such a good feeling, man.
Okay, well, guys, this was awesome talking to you. I think we got a lot of takeaways. The biggest one, Kick, YouTube, Rumble, any deals want to come our way? Listen, we could really, we're looking for that. That's basically our way to solidify ourselves. Thank you so much.
YouTube.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
My rig flew up. Okay, thanks HyperX for having us.
Should we get up now?
Yeah, we get up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not. It's bad in the short term for sure. For
Yeah.
all kinds of people, including me. But
It's painful.
Yeah.
I mean, like,